Today I'm teaching you the goddess of the wind, rain and clouds, Storm. Aurora Munro, aka Storm, is a powerful mutant and X-Man with powers over the weather. And man, she has a tasty name. I will be right back. Come here, my chocolatey chunks of goodness. Oreos! Sorry, her name made me a little bit hungry. We must start her story in the skies with the birds and an unfortunate accident.
Oh, hi, sweetie. Can I get you anything?
How about some clarity for this bit?
Bing, bing, bing.
Oh my god, we're gonna crash!
As I said, unfortunate, but it gets worse. She wasn't even on it. Knock, knock.
Who is it?
The plane! Now orphaned, young Oro was forced to live upon the streets of Cairo as a young street rat, thieving, scrounging, surviving in any way she could. Eventually, she was lucky enough to make her way to a tribe in Kenya, where she earned her title as Goddess of the Weather, all for using those abilities of hers to ease the tribe's struggles. Eventually, Patrick Stewart caught wind and paid her a visit. While basking in her godliness, he offered her a position in the X-Men. So I think you should become part of my upcoming hero team.
I think I would be better off here, helping my people.
I disagree entirely, my dear. What do you think, Jeff Probst?
I think it's time to vote.
And with that survival logic, she became an X-Woman, alongside Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Hugh Jackman. As part of that team, she was a strong center point with a level head, and that all carries over into her gameplay. She is a powerful mid-range DPS that dabbles in supporting capabilities. She may be a squishier target than most, but with the ability to move freely around the map, with several offensive options that allow her to coat large areas, deal massive damage, and have pinpoint accuracy, making her the perfect pick for creative players. That said, she can be easily contested due to the limitations that her abilities carry and her slow mobility, leaving this African Empress dangling like Mufasa. So let's make sure you don't die to a stampede and get to those abilities. First off, she has a unique movement that gives her the ability of free flight. This allows her the freedom to use and manipulate tailwinds to go anywhere in the maps. You're not stuck walking like the peasants, as you're part of that exclusive club of aerial daredevils. So you can go to places like these without needing to get cleared by customs with an ability passport. It is silent, allowing you to tiptoe through the clouds and put those Aladdin skills into place. This unfortunately does come with the major disadvantages that no flyer can escape. The first is that you can't interact with things like jump pads. Only the poor-legged people travel that way. It can also make it hard for you to get healed if your allies are blind. For the exact same reasons, it also makes you an easy target for the ocularly gifted.
Flying lady with awesome hair at 12 o'clock. Shoot her down.
You're sluggish, and unlike the others in the Mile High group, you don't have the best method of rapidly moving around. This forces you to learn patterns to move around in, keep good distance, and float near terrain that you can hide behind, peeking out every now and then. This means map knowledge is incredibly valuable to Storm players, as understanding your positioning can be the difference between getting slammed against the concrete or sending a large bit of turf right at them, Twister style. All that said, that doesn't mean you can't get around. As you may have noticed by now, there is a large circle with Storm at the epicenter of what is actually a sphere. This is part of your first ability and is a main staple of your kit. It's called Weather Control.
Yar, it be the winds of change.
Pretty much, pirate person. It is permanently active so long as you are alive and not in your ult. So you can't just get stunned out of it. It will grant you and your team a type of buff depending on the ring that surrounds you. The first of these is Tornado, which will mainly be active during the times you need to move around. It grants you and your team a speed boost, making it a little easier to maneuver in the skies. Do a barrel roll! The other is Thunder, but I prefer to call it Lightning because that is lightning. When you switch to this one, the air becomes all zappy, enhancing the damage that everyone can deal, except for the guys on the other side. Buffs, boy! For both buffs, they give you a low boost, which, if we crunch the numbers, carry the one. How are we on fractions? Pizza sounds good though. God, I hate mathematicians! Wait, I have something better. Be gone, crappy calculator! Arise, Internet Wiki. So, Twister grants you 16% windwalk speed, with half of it split streaming down to any allies in the area. As for Lightning McQueen's Circle of Static, it gives you 12% amplification, with 10% upping the muscle membrane of the team, making them feel all tingly inside. Gonna get a ripped figure by this Storm! The breeze and bzzz spreads across a range of 15 meters in all directions of the globe. glow. It even has a counter tallying your allies, enemies, and even which zone is activated at the time. It's right here, and you will want to monitor it from time to time. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to eyeball the aura farm, which can be a bit tedious to monitor those elements during the chaos of a fight, which that happened to me quite a few times during my practices, and it's most noticeable with one of the other abilities. And because of the exact same reasons, you may struggle to hide with this, as there's a big Aurora orb hanging out in the middle of nowhere ready for a bullseye. The only real way to get it to disappear is to fly up high or keep your distance, which can give enemies a false sense of security or leave your allies with that puny unbuffed figure.
My muscles aren't big no more, man.
Now, what exactly can this aura amplify? Let's talk basic attack, or we will after I plug my socials. I'll make this quick. Hi guys, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, make sure you subscribe. I try to get my community involved as much as possible. That, and it gives me positive feedback. Now, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm streaming again. I'll be playing all sorts of games that you might enjoy. It is all over the place at the moment, but times are always the same at 8:30 PM, Aussie Standard Time. Anyway, enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys over there. Windblade is your most reliable damage-dealing projectile capable of firing that well-forged air in long-range swipes. While you can throw wind puffs like a sniper, you want to be a lot closer, around that 20 to 40 meter range, with a fall-off beginning after about 20 meters. Each slice of sharpened air can carve through enemies' flesh, penetrating through at the same damage. For this reason, you want to maximize your damage by slicing as many foes in half as possible with as little effort. Haha, my legs! I can't feel my legs. That's because they're over here. Woo! This forces you to position at lower altitudes and angles that allow you to weave these air compressed blasts through a cluster, which works perfectly for you as you'll already be positioning with your team, not like a flyer. This does work off a magical ammo supply of 12 discs and has a slightly sluggish reload, which, what is she actually doing there? Is she breathing? That's some good air. Unfortunately, the wind in the willows have drawbacks that can limit your capabilities. The first is that they cannot crit, so instead of lopping limbs off, you're mainly going to be giving them a close shave. Just a trim, please. The second is that while it is reliable, it is also weak compared to a burst character's, forcing you to put more effort into your kill potential, which can leave you vulnerable and easily contestable. You're going to be playing a lot more hokey pokey than anything with these, as you want to provide support with your weather bubble and offer the target up as tribute to your allies, or vice versa.
Your tribute, priestess.
Thanks. Another dead guy.
Huzzah!
I was expecting more gold than corpses as a goddess. Alright, it's time to talk about her most powerful abilities and make someone 1 in 12,000 to get struck by lightning. Bolt Rush is a powerful hit scan ability capable of making Storm create death sparkles from her fingertips. It's the kind of power that will make your foes scream police brutality as you whip out and unload a 1 billion volt taser in a straight line directly into their skull. It deals a massive chunk of damage, frying them almost instantaneously, and can also barbecue some of their allies that are in close proximity to the bolt. Unlike other hit scan abilities, it has a forgivable cylindrical size to the blast. Despite that, you do still have to be somewhat accurate. It does have a range limitation of 40 meters and an 8-second cooldown, but those are the only negatives to this electrocution. You're wanting to use this as a fight closer, forcefully sticking a fork into an electrical socket and redirecting it towards one of your victims. You can also use it mid-combo or as an opener. However, once it is used, you will be stuck waiting in more ways than one. Goddess Boost channels your divinity into your weather manipulation, allowing you to lay a biblical smite down on those who oppose you. It affects both your air pressure and your electrical downpour, improving them vastly with a domain expansion. Tornado isn't going to do anything like pick up a cow with a twister, but it will heavily affect fronts of a weather map and your movement. For you, your hovering has become a jet stream, allowing you to book it around the place at incredible speeds. Your allies are able to use these currents as well, increasing their movements but with a dampened effect. As for your enemies, they aren't getting out of this anytime soon. Once they enter, they will be hit with a high pressure zone that slams against them, making them look like a Looney Tune in a centrifuge. They will be slowed slightly, making it a lot harder to pursue or pressure anyone on your team. You're mainly wanting to use this to get away, as it's your only movement tool, but you can also gain value against divers, slowing them down so your your team can handle them a lot easier. As for your lightning field, it will increase the buff's effect, granting you and your buddies power to wind wallop the competition. However, this time, instead of making their flubber wobble with a little bit of a breeze, you're going to be striking them down with the entire might of a thunderstorm. Once activated, you are struck by lightning, conducting it and shaping it into a massive X. And like the X Factor, once your enemies receive one, it's time for them to be electrocuted. I don't think that's how that show works, mate.
Really?
Well, what was I watching then? Some screwed up death row game show? After your initial cross current charge, the rolling thunder will continue to generate streaks, raining them down upon the heads of all targets in range. They continue to trigger every 2 seconds over the 8-second duration, chipping away at their HP over time. The opponents must be within your radius for you to hit a strike, which means you should be thinking about your approach, the size of your energy orb, and when is the perfect time to use this. Here are some options for when you would use it. Should you follow your front line and unleash some righteous fury on whoever is grouped? Should you use it defensively against someone that can't keep their hands to themselves? Or should you be sneaky and visit an unsuspecting victim at the back? Whatever you choose, you need to be cautious, as while this is powerful and can easily dish out shared damage, you also have no control of the strikes after the activation buzzer blast. It can also leave you in rough spots if you're not careful, so monitor your duration and your positioning. It also goes on a lengthy cooldown once the duration runs out, so make sure each strike counts. I like to make enemies respect the pressure of this ability, popping it to land some strikes and only switching the element if I'm in trouble or after the final zap. While the remains after that last goddess gift is small, it's enough of a speed boost for you to get to somewhere safe. It might sound like a great idea to constantly switch during the duration. Unfortunately, the duration of the animation is just barely slower than the bolts. Besides, you've got other things to worry about instead of fiddling with the options. Now, let's top this perfect storm with her ult. The Omega Hurricane is a long-ranged hunting tool that allows you to bulldoze formations and create panic on the backline. Once active, you will enter a channel state, shouting an epic one-liner before ascending into the atmosphere, where it is safe. While in the Cloud Sanctuary, you may select a location to return to, dropping a torrent of weather, wind, and hey, is that my new car? I still have payments on that thing! And bring it right down smack bang on top of the fools who doubted your divinity. While wearing your wind armor and walking into the bar, you'll have a large pool of bonus HP as you remove the counter, tavern, and freshly made fallen, spiraling them around you. This is an incredibly quick and strong way of clearing the enemy off the board. If they are not prepared with any healing or countermeasures, you're going to shred through their health, leaving only the tanks in your wake. Anyone that does survive, well, they can get yanked around with the inhaling of your cyclone, displacing them around the map to your liking. Unfortunately, you're not impervious in this. Certain characters and teams can band together and simply await your arrival before showing you how much they love Mother Nature. Hint, they don't like natural disasters. And I wouldn't like it either if one was specifically targeting me. If they can't deal with you, splitting up will easily allow them to outlast the gale, minimizing casualties. In this case, be selective of your victim you want caught in the hurricane. During the drop phase, you can even await and outlast certain abilities in the sky, which can also create some confusion, making them think that they are safe. Don't overextend if it can be helped. Instead, it may be better to work from back to front, so when your ability ends, you are right back in the position you left from, ready to talk weather with all of your buddies. Speaking of, a certain someone wants to help with the devastation of your ult, so let's talk team-ups. Storm has been a part of a few team-ups. Her first was with Thor and Cap and allowed her to create a chain lightning effect with Bolt Rush. She was eventually removed and added onto an epic ult with the Human Torch that allowed her to create an ablaze tornado of death and destruction. However, that quickly left because apparently one of the devs is an avid horror fan. The shark Jeff Nado is one of the most hilarious and powerful ults to ever hit the streets of Florida. Once you're in the sky, Jeff can also gulp up his dinner and then await to be collected by the Tempest Taxi. Once he's collected, he floats around amongst the debris and destruction, swallowing more enemies that have prolonged exposure amongst the breeze. Pelican foes will take increased munchy crunchy damage and will remain pocketed. They will only be spat out once the ability has ended. This also extends Storm's ult, meaning you can be a lot more threatening and hunt down those who ran in the other direction. Or if you're communicating with your Jeff, play it smart. Get your shark power to chase one group while you chase the other and meet in the middle for leftovers. This has minimal counters outside of the usual ones that you would have for both Jeff and Storm. In Jeff's case, a power healing ult like Caps can allow his team to survive the bite of 87. I think the only thing that I'm disappointed about with Storm's kit is that there is no hail move, which Luna would be perfect for helping produce that. Right, let's talk strategy. Storm is an incredible mid-range DPS who can alter how she plays for the team. She demands respect from everyone on the field, and while you may not always clean up all your kills, you will be participating in a majority of them. That said, she is vulnerable to characters that can out-damage her, particularly over range, poor cooldown management or positioning, a lack of fast-paced mobility, and an over-reliance on team gameplay. Because of her team synergy, she rarely feels out of place, even if she doesn't have a teamer, which makes it also one of her greatest strengths. To play her well, you're forced to learn how to position effectively, her couple of combos, and the playstyles that come with both. Let's start with the combos. The first of which is the Thunderstorm combo. Activate your Goddess boost, then fire a Bolt Rush. You then follow that up with a couple of basic attacks. It is powerful and produces equal damage to that of a burst combo, making it incredibly easy to eliminate at least one foe. It's also very resource heavy, but you can make up for that with an increase in basic attacks, melees, or even just teamwork. Just remember that anything that you do before your Goddess boost will do slightly less damage. I don't really see it as a massive difference, but I'm sure there's someone out there that will say, it's huge! You can even add your ult to this to make it a team wipe sequence if you play your clouds right. In fact, a lot of your combos will revolve around this central one. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of wind whack attacks and utilizing your taser. The most important thing with Storm is her positioning, which is usually in the 15 to 40 meter mark, so your abilities are still useful. However, that distance and what you do within your plays will change that up, particularly with your approaches. Some of these playstyles include Poke and Pick, Divine Defender, 10-second Adventure, and Pressure. As always, there may be more, but I feel like these are the ones that you're going to connect with the most. Let's start with the Poke and Pick. This playstyle revolves fully on your safety and will more likely be played when out of range, outmanned, or out in the open. During this, you will either cling around your tanks or you will use the terrain heavily to guard yourself from any damage. You're gonna act like a scared puppy, popping your head out, but instead of growling, you're gonna try to do some electrode torture. There will be a lot of weaving, but because you can fly, you can also use taller structures to fly along and play a little game of Pop Goes the Weasel. When hanging around your tanks, it's the same thing, only you're kind of using them as meat shields. Sorry, not sorry, big boys. It's your job. Do it with pride. Remember, hanging just behind your tanks is your main spot, but if you're hanging around terrain, you're doing it for safety, or you're trying to get an angle on a specific target. Next up is Divine Defender. You're going to be positioning more around your healers with this, trading your damage output for divine protection. This does not have to be specifically for healers. Anyone can take advantage of it. Let's say a Spider-Man or Panther wants to Control-Alt-Delete your Atom. You're the early warning system that came with intent to kill. If they target anyone in your safe zone, they have to deal with you. And that is hard to do when they are constantly flashing their skeletal structure within your domain. They are forced to acknowledge your existence, and the only way to deal with you like this is to put you under fire, which is harder to do when you go up, up, and away. You do have to focus on your zone size with this, as if it's too tiny, you're like a burglar alarm that's delayed until it's too late. This is also a playstyle that can help you improve your retreats. Next up is
In, out, 10-second adventure. It's that easy, Morty.
It's basically walk in, bust a load, get out. There are a few ways to approach this, with the most obvious being with your ult. 1. Just charge in, drop everything you've got, then get back out.
10-second adventure.
2. Find an off angle and try to pick off the back line, then return to your tanks.
10-second adventure.
If you're too late to defend, use it as a retreat prevention, following them the entire time and booting them up the butt for thinking they could do that.
10-second adventure.
Final one, push it a bit further and sneak in on your prey.
13-second adventure. But if we round that down, 10-second adventure.
All that matters here is that it is quick, painful, and successful. Otherwise, that Rick and Morty scene is going to make a lot more sense. In this context, you can use your flight to take secret journeyman detours, but it will leave your team without their buffs. If they're an alert team, don't do it. Finally, we have pressure. With this, you use your unignorable presence along with your team to force your way into something. Think like a rowing team paddling heavily, only instead of paddles, it's a superpowered beating. Whether it's the point, payload, or you just want to shove them back into their hobbit holes, you're all going to work together to overwhelm them and gain ground. It works great against teams that don't have great structure or coordination. However, you do need to be careful of off-angled foes or opposing flyers that can return the pressure right back on you. As with this, you will be forward marching directly to victory or doom. It's kind of like a final gambit.
Woo, I think I made a name for myself.
Storm is perfect for players that like a more supportive playstyle but don't want to give up that high damage DPS are known for. They like her style not just with outfits but abilities, or even the freedom of her movement. Players that don't enjoy sluggish movement, easily being picked off, or being forced into such close ranges with her playstyle just won't enjoy her. If you're coming from Overwatch, she's perfect for you if you played Pharah, Lucio, Juno, Mercy, or even Lifeweaver. As for the voice actor fan, she is played by the strong, confident tones of Mara Junot. Finally, my obligated asks. Please like, subscribe, and ding that noti bell. Share this with the Windy Warriors, and I'll see you when we unveil the next vote.